as I read over and reflected and prayed over these readings, the natural ocean of emotion and time washed over me, and I thought of my own family. And I would not normally think of my family as holy. I think when I think about the Holy Family, I think about the example of the Lord and Jesus and Mary. And sometimes it's a little bit hard to sort of to think that your own family has holiness in it. And yet, the more I prayed and read these readings, the more I realized, frankly, how blessed I am to be involved, not just in a nuclear family that's holy, imperfect, but holy, but other families too. And the gifts of those families and the wisdom that the Lord talks about in that reading, certainly in the gospel, that he got from his family as he grew up and got strong. I feel the same way, very blessed being with you today as a member of a lot of families. So I'm going to go through a few of those families with you with a few photographs, and maybe there'll be a perspective on your own families that you can relate to with mine. So Father Bill reminded me, I have 3 kids, not 2, but I couldn't find a picture of 3. So what you call the normal, typical family is not anywhere near normal. I'm not sure I know what normal families are, except families have lots of different characteristics, and mine is no different. And certainly the next slide is probably the best example of my family. As far as anyone knows, we are a very nice, normal family. And when we travel together, we kid ourselves that we are like the Griswolds when we travel, because always something is going to happen that is funny and a little frustrating, but those are the things that we tend to hold on to, I think, when we think back about those beautiful memories. Maybe you have a few of those in your own families as well. And then thinking about my own family, this is a picture of my dad when he was in the Navy in World War II, just as a very young man. And unfortunately, I never got to explore the gift of the book of the reading from Sirach that we heard in that first reading. He died when I was just 3 years old and was only 40. And so there's 6 of us. I'm the youngest of 6. And my mom, who was only 36, raised us. And so sometimes when I hear my sisters and brothers and my mom talk about my dad and the gift that he was to them, sometimes I feel a little bad, but I know that that gift of patience and wisdom and the sense of humor that they talk about all the time is infected in me, in my DNA, and it was certainly a big part of what life my dad led. And I know that I'll get a chance to be reunited with him again, as my mom is already there, and one of my brothers, to be able to have that gift of family with him in heaven that I missed, if God willing lets me in, that I didn't get here on earth. This is a picture of my nuclear family and my extended relational family, my sister there in the red, and my 3 kids and my wife and several of my nieces and nephews. I've had a chance, been blessed to be able to witness a few of the marriages of the older kids and baptize a few of the younger grandnieces and nephews. And as we hear in that second reading, it takes patience and forgiveness and humility in order to relate to people, even family members, because we know sometimes it's strained. It's strained maybe because of sadness, because of tragedy, or it's strained because, in the case of my family, we don't get together as much as we would all like. And so we have to learn to sort of adjust to each other as we go when we get into these situations of gatherings. And so I looked at that reading and think, gee, in my own life, I know that I'm so blessed to just sort of be present with them and be patient with them as I know they're patient with me. And maybe that's something, again, in your own families you experience, especially as we enter into this new year, an opportunity for us to all be peacemakers and to be mercy forgivers in our own families. These are several of my friends that a couple of these guys I went to grade school and kindergarten with, and this picture was taken just last year. So these guys are absolutely my brothers from another mother. And I think about the gift of them in my life. And over the years, because they live in different parts of the country, relationships have changed a bit. But when we get back together, there's something that's beautifully magical about the connection that we have. Maybe you have that. I hope you have that in your life, whether they're friends here or friends far away, or even friends that have gone before us, that gift of family that's extended through close friends is another beautiful blessing and gift that we carry with us, that sometimes when I struggle and I feel like I've lost a little bit of my identity, I go back to these guys, into the image of these gentlemen in my life, and they bring me whole. This is a part of my beautiful Holy Spirit family, and how blessed I've been that Father Bill was kind enough to invite me to come here a few years ago and serve here as a deacon. And frankly, this gift of generosity that you show, both with gifts, and this is a picture at Catholic Charities. Some of you have been down to the agency that I run on behalf of the Archdiocese to minister to the poorest of the poor. And what a beautiful family this is that I feel very blessed to be a part of. All of us here today are a part of this welcoming family, coming as we are, welcomed by God in all of our diversity. And this gift of me being as a gift to be able to baptize and be a deacon here in Holy Spirit, the word diakonia is in Greek the word for service. So for me to be serving here and serving at Catholic Charities in a beautiful way, in the case of a family baptism, that I get to be a small part of that family for a while. Each of us has those moments of opportunity to be parts of others and other families, providing mercy and forgiveness and peace. This is my Catholic Charities family that I probably spend more time with than anybody else, because they are so dedicated and they care so deeply about the people that we serve. We extend our family arms around all of God's children that come into Catholic Charities. And these are the folks that provide the dignity and compassion. And as I like to say, they step into the tornado with the clients every day and give them hope and peace and help. And they know that we're going to be there today and tomorrow and the next day. This is a picture of one of our adoption program gatherings. So we have done adoption since 1941, and this is a chance for our adoptive families to get together. Non-traditionally, perhaps, to learn about each other, and that they know that they have other families that are going through the same pacing of life as they do, and they get connected to them, just like all of us get connected to family members, people that are close to us, that are just as close as family, and they bring a special bond together. And so this is a gift for me that I share with you, to say that those people in our lives that are somewhat non-traditional, and maybe in some cases far away from us, they can also become a part of our lives in the new year. Maybe we can reach out to them as a part of our New Year's resolutions to be closer to those family members that maybe are far away. This is a great picture with Archbishop Thomas at the Pallium Mass in St. Peter's, with Father Bill and Father Jojo, and many of you that made that pilgrimage. The folks in the picture with Archbishop are board members of Catholic Charities. So they are very important to me too as family members. They act as mentors, as advisors to me, giving me feedback. They challenge me, and they also help me be able to use them as an idea bounce. Maybe you have that in your life. Maybe you're the mentors for others in your life. Or maybe that's something that you've done in the past, that maybe there are people in your life now that you'll pray on this week, that you'll want to be able to stand forward as mentors for them as you enter the new year. And of course, Bishop Pepe, a father figure to me, I think to Father Bill and to so many of us, as he ministered us as our shepherd for so many years. And he's the one that called me to think about becoming a deacon and then ordained me. And Father Bill is our vocational leader as the deacon. So this is a picture at Catholic Charities. So again, Bishop Pepe is a big fabric of my life in a very beautiful way. Again, in many ways, a father figure to me. All of these families are different, yours and mine, and they look differently and they act differently, but they are all blessed by God, and they are all holy. And that's the gift, I think, that we carry with us today in this celebration, is that all of us, despite our wounds, are holy. And perhaps, as we know that the Holy Family had their own trials and tribulations, certainly when Jesus got lost in the temple, or when Mary said at Cana, do whatever he tells you, we can go to Mary and Joseph and ask them to intercede for us to their son when we feel disconnected perhaps from our own family, and we need reconnected through the Lord and peace and grace that the God gives us. Because again, Pope Francis reminds us in one of his recent reflections on family that these are the three most important words or phrases: please, thank you, and I'm sorry. And I think we all instinctively know that that is what it feels like. And sometimes we have to be the bridge builder. We have to be the ones to step over the vine and say, it's not about 50-50. It's I'm going to be the bridge builder of forgiveness to you and plant that seed of love that has been given to me. And so God challenges us, if you are given mercy, you must be mercy givers. If you are forgiven, you must give mercy. All of us, all of our families are holy. And so my prayer for all of us today with this family and your families is that we can make more room in our hearts for God as we are asking for healing for our own wounds. When we give our mercy and forgiveness to others, we make more room in our hearts for God's presence in our lives.
Following the advice of Pope Francis and the words of Deacon Tom, we say thank you to you, Tom, for being deacon here at Holy Spirit and for all you do at Catholic Charities.